So this property you are leaving, and obviously you are taking to something still greater. What is that greater treasure that you are going after? I would like to know, please share it with me. How many women are here who will say like this? I don't think any one of you will say like this. Mujhe to mila acha hua. So far my husband was a restraining force. Now I can go to the shop to any extent and buy any material I want. So you please go, the children must have a mother. So this is what they will say. Maitreyi said like that. And then he entered into a conversation. What is it that he is going to contemplate upon? And at one point he says, Yatra hi dvaidamiva bhavati tadidara idaram jighadi pashyadi shrunodi abhivadati manude vijanadi. My dear Maitreyi, as long as there is a state of oneness, everything is okay. Suppose it is not so. Yatra hi dvaidamiva bhavati. See, this is an Upanishad, you should understand. So the words used are very, very suggestive. Yatra hi dvaidam iva bhavati. Actually there is no two here. There are no two. There is not many. There are not many. But it appears to be so. See, you report that my mind is thinking many thoughts are there. You take two thoughts and show them to me. Are there many thoughts or one after the other is there? So where are many thoughts? Only one thought is there. But you say many. So it appears to be many. In reality it is not so. Yatra hi dvaidamiva bhavati tad idara idaram pashyadi. Only when there are two, one will be able to see another. Jighadi, smell another. Pashyadi, see another. Shrunodi, hear another. Abhivadati, talk to another. Manude, think about. Vijanadi, understands. When I say I understand something different from me. When I say I think something different from my mind. So only in a state of two, all these interactions, comprehensions, apprehensions, all these possible. Yatra va asya sarvamidam atmaiva bhud. Are you hearing? Yes. Huh? Yes. Yatra, by spiritual contemplation, spiritual pursuit, by listening to the supreme truth from a Sadguru, when you progress and progress and progress, and ultimately you reach a stage, the same mind which shows you many, it becomes pure, subtle, sublime and refined, and it says, though I am seeing many in forms, in reality the presence is only one. That feeling comes to us. So, yatra va asya sarvamidam atmaiva bhud. All this becomes the great and splendorous self, the single self. Tad kena kam jigred. In that state, how can anybody smell another? There are no two. There are not many. So it is not possible either to smell or to see or to hear. Jigred, pashyed, shrunuyad, hear, abhivaded, speak to, manvida, think about, vijaniyad, understand. I don't know whether you understand what I say. Huh? No. चुप रहते हैं क्यों? तब हम कहाँ जाएंगे बोलने के लिए? I will leave all of you and go to the heavens to speak. This is for human listening, human exposure. So when all are one, what can be seen by whom? What can one see? What can one hear? What can one talk to? What can one think about? What can one understand? Yenedam sarvam vijanadi tam kena vijaniyat. By which you know everything. By which you know everything. That supreme knower or knowingness, how can you know? It is always in the state of the knower. So that supreme knower or knowing entity, by virtue of which you know everything and all, how can you know it? Vijñātāram are kena vijaniyat. That supreme knower, my dear Maitreyi, who can understand that knower? Because he is the one that knows everything. So knowing him, it does not arise at all. Maximum you can become him. What? You can become him. Not that you can know him. So when you progress in the path of self and self-realization, you cannot know the self. You can be and become the self. Brahmavid Brahmaiva bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. To know God is to become God. Our Kena Upanishad makes a very, very clear assertion. I happened to read it in my pre-sannyasa days in Calcutta, the present Kolkata. You know, when I read it, Iha cheda vedi datha satyamasti, na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi, bhuteshu bhuteshu vijitya dhira, pretya asma lokat amrita bhavandi. Iha ched avedi datha satyamasti. If you succeed in knowing the supreme truth, here in this life, your life becomes meaningful, truthful. सुन रहे हैं क्या? नहीं, नहीं. See, you should react to this statement. If you succeed in knowing the supreme truth about yourself, right in this life, your life becomes meaningful and truthful. Otherwise, na chediha vedin mahati vinashtihi. Suppose you ignore or fail in the process, then colossal is the loss. Colossal is the loss. Now, after having heard, seen, read this statement, what is your option? That is why I say you are not hearing me. You are not hearing me. What is your option, boliye? Only to know. Otherwise you are going to die a person of useless life. You will not have any meaning in your life. To make your life meaningful, you have to know the truth of the self. I am not the visible gross body. I am the power and the presence that animate this visible body. That which generates heat, that which generates sound, that which generates thought, that which generates doubt, knowledge, memory. There is a presence in you. Understand and realize that presence. Unless you realize it, your life is not going to be meaningful and truthful. Now you tell me, are you going to die a truthful person, a meaningful person, or the other way? Boliye na. So then you have to think about sannyasa. At least 50% of you should become sannyasis. Your estimation about you is that we are great people, householders, householders, bulb holders, holders. By that process you are not going to fulfill your life. The touch of renunciation, the touch of disidentity with the body, the touch of knowing and realizing the presence and the power within your body, it is very, very important. In Kathopanishad, there are beautiful statements. Yadeveha tadamutra yadamutra tadanviha mrityosa mrityumapnodi yaiha naneva pashyadi. You know, to see that there are many is the greatest sin that you can incur. Never look at the world and then say there are many. There is only one. Bhagavan hai. The Supreme Lord is there. The majestic and the magnificent self is there. Nothing else is there. The moment you start saying or feeling many, too, yadeveha tadamutra, yadamutra, tadanviha, whatever is here, that alone is elsewhere. In the heaven, you are not going to have anything besides what you have now. Yadamutra, tadanviha. If you go beyond and beyond and beyond, perhaps you may strike another earth. Nothing different from what is here. So don't run after the ritualistic propositions and think about Vaikuntha, Kailasa, etc., etc., etc. No. Yadeveha, whatever is here, tadamutra, that alone is there. Yadamutra, tadanviha, whatever is there, that is also here. Mrityosa mrityumapnodi yaiha naneva pashyadi. Whoever sees many here, he runs from death to death, death to death, death to death. What do you think of these statements? Now, whenever I read, I must have been in my 20s, 21 years old or so. When I read this, it was such an endearing, ennobling, elevating, enlightening statement. I don't think I could have looked at any other source for such an endearing statement. If somebody most beloved to you tells you something, how will you respond to it? I was responding to it in even a greater measure. For me, the scriptures are, what shall I say? The scriptures are the real embodiment of divinity. The scriptures are not books, letters, paper, black color on white background. Certainly not. They should speak to you in a vibrant manner. Their words should be cherished. Their words should be delightfully absorbed, vibrantly remembered, persistently contemplated upon, and you should wholesomely become what they say. This is what we want. I don't think anybody has got this kind of a loving regard for the scriptures. Hai kya? See, we are having a discussion on Vivekachoodamani. Are you able to evaluate its merit, its role, its purpose? Such a discussion, where will it take place? It's not easy. You go and search in the whole of India. It's not easy to find a discussion of this nature. So sublime, so beautiful. Manasai vedamaptavyam neha nanasti kinchana mrityosa mrityumapnodi yaiha naneva pashyadi. Neha nanasti kinchana. Are you hearing, my dear souls? Neha, not here. Asti kinchana, nanasti. There are not many here. There are not many here. There are not many here. My dear man, my dear woman, my dear seeker, know this, know this, know this. It's all a sensory witchcraft. What? What? The world is not what you see. The senses are coloring the world. Apart from the sensory coloration or coloring, you don't know what an object is. This is a shawl before me. This is what my hand, my touch and my eyes say. Apart from it, what this shawl is, do you know? Can we ever know? We have a sensory description of the world. Go into the mind level, go into the soul level, then you will find the sensory many is superseded by the spiritual one. What did I say? The sensory many are superseded by the spiritual one. And the secret to realize this, manasai vedamaptavyam, by the mind, the grace of the mind, the purity, the sublimity, the subtlety, the expansion of the mind will make you feel this truth. Atah pramadanna parosti mrityuhu vivekino brahmavidas samadhau samahitah siddhimupaiti samyak samahitatma bhavasavadhanah tadaswarupa vibhramsho vibhrashtastu patatyadha patitasya vinanasham punarnarohaiksyate sankalpam varjayet tasmad sarvanarthasya karanam jivato yasya kaivalyam videhe sacha kevalah yat kinchit pashyato bhedam bhayam brute yajushruti. I emphasize the point of overcoming the differential outlook and notion which generally dominate us right from the time of birth and ever since we started our interactions with the world through the senses. We see only variety, plurality, multiplicity. So the multiple and the plural notions are very dominant in us. But the fact remains that the entire existence in whichever forms it may be, it is altogether only one. Now you may not be able to accept it or even understand it initially. Therefore, I will again go to our mind. Shall I? Do you agree that throughout our life we are always experiencing. There is no moment of life when we are non-experiential. We are experiencing. This experience is inner. This much do you agree?
Yes.
Our body facilitates this experience, but experience is not bodily. By what? By this what do I mean? We have got a body. This body consists of matter and energy, a point that tirelessly I have been speaking about. Our body is a Panchabhautik body according to our Vedantic science. Materially or scientifically you can say it's a matter-energy aggregate. Both the matter and energy do not have any power, property or potential to generate anything like experience. Do they have?
No.
So this experience obviously does not belong to or come from the body. Though we are associated with a body, this body acts like a walking stick. The stick is not walking, but with the help of the stick we are walking. And the stick also starts moving with us. You cannot say that the stick is walking and that is responsible for our pace. So the body is only instrumental, helpful in the process of experiencing and further derivations and outcomes called knowledge, memory, feelings, emotions and whatnot. In as much as this experience is inner and not belonging to the body, belonging if at all only to the mind. Now in the mind level, what is the truth? You tell me. Are there many things in the mind or only one?
Only one.
How suddenly you say this? In the mind level, there may be thoughts, there may be emotions, there may be knowledge, there may be memory. Let there be many mental modifications. In all these modifications, are you able to think of anything besides the mind substance, as it were? Huh? What is a thought? A mental product. A mental product is not at all different from the mind. Even when I see a colorful world, a gross world, the colorfulness and the grossness are experiences in the mind level. So the mind's grossness is mental. The mind's colorfulness is mental. You take a plain mirror. In front of the plain mirror, you hold one after the other many colorful objects with different shapes. When that object is shown, you will find the mirror part will disappear and only the object part will be seen. Is it not? Yes. Am I clear when I tell you this? See, you show a red flower or a red carpet, so to say. The whole mirror will disappear and you will see only the red carpet there. Remove it, show an yellow carpet, an yellow bedsheet. Now so many different things are reflected and shown by the mirror. But does the mirror change at all? No. And in every reflection, is there anything other than the mirror? No. Now in the case of the mirror and the object reflected, they are different from each other. But in the case of the mind, the object reflected is in the mind itself. And the reflecting mind also is the mind. So the example is not absolutely correct, but it will help you. Every example is like that. So when the mind becomes the thought, there is no mind. When the mind becomes a feeling, there is no mind. The mind itself has become the feeling. And the feeling disappears, the mind goes back to itself, its own structure, nature and character. So in the mind level, you tell me whether there are many or only one. Even the mind level, there is only one. How dare you say that there are many? Because the whole world is your own mind's experience and projection. Am I clear or not? Yes. Now what further proof do you want to say that there is only one? In the same Vivekachoodamani, Shankara goes on describing the Jivan Mukta. What? The one who is liberated in life. Liberated in life. While living itself, he is liberated. And one sloka, one description is that Na pratyak brahmanor bhedam kadabi brahma sargayoho prajnaya yo vijanati sa jivan mukta lakshana. Na pratyak brahmanor bhedam. Bheda means difference. Difference between pratyak means your own inner self, yourself. Brahman means the supreme reality, the source of entire creation. No difference should be felt between this inmost presence and the universal presence. Is there any difference between the air present in your body and the air present all around? No. What about Akasha then? Will there be any difference? Is Akasha divisible? No. Air is divisible, but not Akasha. But the air, if it were to be divided, then I think you will die. Because it remains indivisible and the carbon dioxide goes out, mixes fresh air, it's all indivisible. One stretch you are able to live. So our body is separate from the rest. But the air is not separate. Akasha is not separate. Much less is the soul separate. And this mind is an expression or a functional note, functional unit of the self. And in the mind level, where all experiences are had, all the experiences along with responses and reactions to them, and byproducts called feelings, emotions, doubt, knowledge, memory, and all these things Altogether there is only one product, one substance there. That clearly proves there is only one. Hold on to this fact, hold on to this truth, develop it and be governed by it, and you will find when you are infused with this one idea, bas, everything is over. Ega tattva ghanabhyasaha. Ega tattva ghanabhyasaha. Say that. Ega tattva ghanabhyasaha. The consistent, the intense, the wholesome and the dense practice of oneness.